So, do we want to have a bit of fun with this? Whatever happens, I bet it doesn't look like this by the time we finish. This gin right down here, which I didn't know what I was doing, needs to come off. Imagine this is no longer here. We get rid of it, but I'll slowly eat away or reduce those so that I can get the potting angle I want. Wow, so 5 things, okay. I'll leave that now because that's good. Hiya, it's Xavier and welcome to my bonsai retreat, and I'm a bit excited because I'm doing junipers, and every time I get near them I get more excited about it, and that's down to Candice. So again, thoughts with you, hope everything's going well in your life. For those of you who've been watching my channel regularly, which is a lot more now, I'm really happy with how everyone out there is watching more of the videos, thank you very much. You'll have remembered this one from last year. There was a lot of debate. And this is the first one where I was playing with juniper, to be honest, and each time I went to it I got a little bit more excited by it and a little bit more sort of caught up, and I did some wiring. Well, anyway, wiring's been on there for, well, whenever that last video was, which we'll have a look up there, but certainly it's been on for a year, and I know it's bitten in nicely. And this is a juniper, not a problem. He says, I'm going to take that wire off. Now, one of the things that came up very early on is no matter what I'm going to do with this gin right down here, which I didn't know what I was doing, needs to come off. And this one that's in the crotch between two also probably needs to come off. They're just, if this is going to be the front, they're coming straight at you. And to be fair, I don't think they really do anything for it. Should we give it a spin though, just so you can be reminded of where we're at? There's some interesting movement there, and it may be that I might actually take off quite a lot this time round. But primary aim right now, we're getting to the latter stage of where I'm feeling confident to repot juniper. This is brilliantly healthy, and what I want to do is put this into what they call the Kaizen number 3 mix. And I put his website on there because I want you to know that's the soils I'm using. Until I can get hold of some Pumice and zeolite, hopefully by the end of the year. So, do we want to have a bit of fun with this? Because whatever happens, I bet it doesn't look like this by the time we finish. So, hey, first thing, let's get the wire off, shall we? Do you want to see me taking wire off? No, probably not. If you want to see me taking wire off, I've got a video from the very early days, and I was trying really hard, so please support me. Go right back, have a look at the link, but not right now, and you can watch me taking wire off. And if you have trouble with sleeping, certainly for insomniacs, I recommend it. This is the perfect video for you to just put on your phone and your bedside table. You don't need to watch it because it's not very interesting, but it's only got a few views, so I'd love your help for that one. Am I blabbering again? Yeah. Right. Well, I might share. I'll take the wire off now, shall I? Where we've got here, can you see? You can see in here, wires digging in nicely in here. It's a juniper, so I'm less bothered. This is a bigger gauge of aluminium wire, and you know whether I like to. I think what I like to do when I know it's dug in like this, digging in, I will try and carefully remove it by hand, because the marks you see here, it's right in on the thickness, so that's doubled in girth. But with juniper, quite often, and this is how you can get such good live vein twisty stuff, is that it seals around the inside. So what you're trying to do is carefully remove that wire without exposing the cambium. Now, I mean, there's no way that if you look at that, it's pretty darn ugly. But with a healthy, vigorous juniper, that can often heal over, or certainly rough over with the bark. But the key is at the moment is by taking it off this way, as well as recycling the wire, and I can do this very easily. I'm also ensuring that I don't open any of those up for now. Because what you don't want to do is risk opening it so much you actually end up dyeing the branch, so to speak. I think I need to get rid of that great big long harpoon now. I think it's an interesting harpoon, but let's just get rid of it now. Okay, well it's 20 minutes later and piles of wire, and that will be one of my winter jobs, straightening out and grading that and see whether or not we can use it again. This vexes me, and whatever I do now, I know that it's going to vex a few of you, so apologies, but it's my tree, so I'll do what I like with it. That doesn't mean you can't give comments, because you know I love the feedback. Eastern red cedar, by the way, and you know, if you haven't seen it, my garden got absolutely hit by the red cedar rust, and this is one of them, and as you see, you know, they actually survive. I just removed the rust areas. Going by this pattern, I think it'll be alright for next year, and then I've got to watch it the year after. But hey, watch the red cedar rust video if you want to see more on that. I think we need to do the first thing that I've do. I've already pricked myself on this a couple of times. I think I used it to demonstrate ginning and stuff, but truthfully, no. Far too low down on the trunk, so we'll get rid of it. What I love, by the way, about these is when you start lifting the bark, and this is one of the things you would do, is just peel that bark away carefully, just to get that red look, without actually going to the camera, which is what I just did then. That's a no-no. So let's put this sharp thing away and out of my hand, shall we? Okay. Often I find, I don't know about you, but I get distracted when I've got a lovely bend here, but then I've got this off here and this off there, and I sort of try and think, well, maybe I can make a tree around like this. And sometimes, you know, someone who's been doing this for a long time and know what they're doing, not me, will look at this and go, oh, I know what we'll do, we'll cut all this off and we'll make our tree with this piece here. Well, that's not me, I can't think that far ahead. And with Juniper, what are we doing? We're going to be doing a repot. It's an old one-ish, so the main thing is the repot. I might remove 25% of the foliage, and again, you'll go into the corner and wait for a bit. Options. Remove this, and then look at this as the centre of the tree, or indeed look at this as the new bit. And of course the other thing we consider is going sort of semi-cascade on it. That is actually quite a nice bend, and I think with the root structure that's there I could probably bring it down further, but then we've got the issue here. To get that properly I would need to almost get that right down like that, which means the root's going that way. I'm not sure without looking further how well I'll be able to achieve that, because that's very straight. Now I know people will say, yep, you can bend that even more. I've given that a good crank a few times, and it's pretty brittle, and for me and my experience level I probably won't go any further on that. So I like that movement there. It's whether potentially this could be wired up to almost try and give you a crown here, but I'm still tending to go with what's here. I need to go and think, don't I, because I still haven't got any closer to knowing what I'm going to do. And for all of you who's going, me, it's not a live stream, sorry. Okay, I'm going to upset some people here, I know I will, but this is still learning for me. This material actually cost me £10 back in 2015, and I'm happy that I'm going to do a bit more experimentation, because I see something, but it may take a while and it may not necessarily work, but follow me with this. Imagine this is no longer here. We get rid of this. So I don't know if you can see, but behind it there's potentially this bend here across, and then it bends down again here. So I am going to start developing a semi-cascade, but first of all I need to remove that. That's a good 25% of foliage. Okay, now hopefully you'll see where I'm going. Nowhere good, I bet. It's probably a lot harder to see there, but there's the line, comes down, down, and then it's coming down again, and then I've got this branch here which I might try to just bring it down as well, so I create two sort of pad areas, or that could end up taking over at a later stage. So they're the two main bits of foliage that I'll keep. This back one here I will try and fold around a little bit to give a sort of some sort of small crown there, or potentially create the deadwood for a deadwood crown. And this I'll keep for now, but will get removed at a later stage. So let's do the next bit. Okay, well I've applied just a little bit more wire there. Now just so you can see, hopefully, here is, what is that? Here is the original scarring from the old wire. What you do is you avoid relaying into the same track, so to speak. So I'll put it to the side there, and we'll see how that goes. Now, the aim is to create this pad here just a little bit under it, so that we get this two pad layer. It's hard to imagine because it's all going down at the moment. Just bring this up and around. It's not really cascading yet, I know that. It's going to be a sideways, so I can see this is sort of halfway point. I'm going to be repotting quite a lot of that, and I've got to have a look and see the roots. But I've got to grow a lot of this into what I want. But this is the part that I need to do first. Looks a bit naff at the moment, I know. Anyway, right. I know, that isn't how we just left it, was it? Well, while I was trying to do that cascade palaver, I thought, I don't like it, and it's going to take me too long. And that's a case of, if I wanted to make that sort of decision about a cascade, that should have happened a little longer ago. Longer ago? Yeah, you know what I mean. So, I'm going to be jigging down here, creating a shari all the way down this side. But I've rebent some branches. I've got a pad structure here, here. These are filling in this space here and here. And all I want to do now, just remove a little bit. As I say, I still want to keep a reasonable amount of growth. But just enough so I can start to see a design anyway. I don't know how far that will go out, but I want to keep some foliage on anyway. This is going to be the development area here. Here we probably need to get rid of that branch. I'm not going to try and create those pads because after I do the amount of work on this, it's going to need to recover again. Basic structure, something going out that way. This, I would imagine, if I can get this to start a more back budding coming in here, then what I will be doing is just reducing how far it goes out, like that. Notice how I did that without waiting for the back budding. It's just me, isn't it? Okay, this great thing, if we look in the front somewhere in here, we've got this movement. Then clearly this isn't going to be a and that's daggy, but we won't worry about that right now. It might be a call for wiring. Just reduce some bits along the way, and I'll do that. I'll go around and reduce that a little bit, and I'll have a think about the apex. I'll need to clean that up, and what I'll use for that is I want to try and control where it actually goes down to. And just clean the edges up here so it heals and rolls over nicely. What I want to do is open up more and more of this around, but initially I'm just going to open that small part, let that roll and heal, and then over coming years when I see how that affects, and I think that'll be fine, I'll take it a lot further around. I could probably do a little bit more anyway, couldn't I? Bearing in mind that that's dead there, and I really don't want to slice my wrist. I think the first time I tried to create shari, I took too much off a few years back and just didn't allow the tree time to heal and re-establish stronger vein. So we'll leave that for now. It's actually not that far away from where I was going originally, and I know some of you are going, don't like it, but yeah, I can see a vision further ahead. Okay, let's see how it sits in the pot. Like that. A lot of growth. Again, I think it's just that I'm learning now. I've got to really go a lot more pumice solid based, definitely. So I'm going to just tease these out, see how I can do with getting that to the potting angle I want, and see how much of this root here there is. So, I mean, I've definitely got some little lava rocks in there, but too much organic mix in there, definitely. There's the roots there, all fairly healthy. What I've been trying to do is to reduce this part at the back, and this lump's still here, but what I want is to have some growth coming from down these lower ones for a while. But I'll slowly eat away or reduce those so that I can get the potting angle I want. I can probably do it quite happily, so that's fine. So it's going to go back in the same pot. Got securing points. The mix, as I say, it's the pumice sizes and everything. You know, normally 8. Got some that's only 8mm to 9mm, 5. So it's 5 to 8mm generally. Let's get rid of some of these long ones. Pulled it through the root mass. So let's make sure we've got the potting angle. It's going to be right for this. How's she looking? Looking okay. What do we do with that coming forward a bit? It's a bit of a handlebar there. I remember we had that issue once before and I hid it. That may disappear. Let's see what happens. And as I say, the main aim here was actually just correct the potting angle a bit, remove a bit of the roots, but really get it into this much non-organic, free-draining, pumice-based mix. Got lava in there. Lovely stuff. It's Kaizen's secret recipe. Now, for those of you who think I took too much away, hopefully I didn't. I'm basing this on what happened with last year's different trees and how well they performed or whatever. So I'm relatively happy that this will be fine. Now, I won't do anything to this next year, I shouldn't think. They're famous last words, aren't they? What's the better style? Now, as I said, this upper layer here, I actually want those to die off. Okay. Okay, so that's the repotting part done. I'm going to water this in well. Ignore some of the upper growth here, somewhere it's thicker. Bottom line is I need to leave a reasonable amount of foliage on it now to help this thing thrive and recover and continue to work on roots. So I think it'll be fine. And obviously now I'm going to clean this up, and I may well sharpen those edges and then potentially just put a little bit of putty around the edges to help it roll over. But starting small, and then I can see this getting bigger and bigger, so it actually comes right across here. I'm going to do a little bit more work on that, but I'll probably do that in another day or so, mainly because it's going to be lunch. So we'll break that for now. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with it, and hopefully some of you like it. I'm happy. I'm glad I didn't go cascading around the universe, always going forward because I can't find reverse. Oh, go on, who sang that one then? Star Trekking? Yeah, anyway, it's too much. Yes, I'll water that in. And all I've got to do now is a very sharp blade, just make sure to clean out the area. Okay, you can't see what I'm doing, all you can see is my hands doing the hokey pokey. So I'm just cleaning up this edge. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so what I am going to do now is just burn off the whiskers. Without setting fire to the tree, hopefully. That's better. Wow, set fire to things. Okay, I'll leave that now because that scared me. Oops. And the final thing I'll do is tip over the lime sulphur, dead and wood whitener. Shake well before use. So obviously when you shake well, do make sure the lid's on. We all know what it smells of. Eggs. I don't know, there'll probably be some people saying, oh, never put it straight onto the burnt wood. But you know what, as our well-remembered friend Tony would say, just get on there and do it. It's dead already, it's not like it's going to get any worse, is it? So just carefully apply it into the shari. And you'll need 2 or 3 coats of this, to be fair, from what I understand. I'm using this instead of the Kaizen preservative, just because, well, I know more with junipers, they do tend to have the nice white stain, so you know, we'll stick with that for the sense of authenticity. Lovely smell of egg though. As you see, I introduced a split in there using branch cutters, branch splitters. Probably that thing's the only thing that needs to be done as well. Okay. Now I don't know if there's an age on these things because the sediment's all the way down there. There's the whatever the rest of the stuff is, but okay, well that's the next stage of that along. So you've seen me work on this for over a year now, and I think it's come some way. And I have to say, did anyone think I came through unscathed with all this woodwork? No, I'm bleeding. Those chisels are quite sharp, you know. I wasn't even doing anything like that. Anyway, give it a spin. I'm glad I didn't go cascading it. And yeah, so as I say, I'm going to wait for that to put on a load more growth and vigour over the next coming 12 months. And I reckon we'll be revisiting it again sometime this sort of time next year in 2023. So, from Xavier, continuing in his juniper discovery and voyage of knowledge, getting some bits wrong, some bits just a little bit better, and perhaps even some bits really good. You tell me. All the best, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers. I want to suck your blood. I'll be doing my count thing next, won't I? Cheers.